everybody, I'm Jordan from A State of Health, this wonderful holistic wellness center and yoga studio that you see behind me. And I'm also the creator of Evolving Song Holistic Wellness. And I am delighted to be here practicing yoga in the garden today to explore the throat chakra. So we are diving into our fifth chakra, this space right here. So as you can imagine, this physical area of the chakras, the front of the throat, the back of the throat, it has an effect on the little lymph nodes in this area, the jaw, the nose, the ears, and the mouth. So there's a little bit of overlap between Vishuddha, the Sanskrit name for the throat chakra, and the Ajna chakra, the third eye area. But definitely we sense and we feel the energetic qualities and physical implications of this chakra right here. So, as I mentioned, the Sanskrit name is Vishuddha, or sometimes it's pronounced Vishuddha, and this means purification. So it's a really beautiful way to think about how this particular chakra influences the rest of our life. So it's in a very interesting place, as we've mentioned. It's sort of the meeting place between the body, the heart, and the head. Okay, so this like little in-between area that needs to sort of process and integrate the energies that are rising up, the information and sensory information and emotional information that's coming from our body and our heart, and also, the intellectual information and our intuition, that sort of connection to spirit or to the divine as well. So there's a lot of energy and charge that's coming to this center, this tiny little physical space. So sometimes our throat chakras can give us a bit of a hard time. A lot of us, I feel, are pretty challenged with their throat chakra, simply just because it is such a charged area and it's responsible for our self-expression. So speaking our truth, being conscious in our communications, as well as listening to others and giving space for others to be heard and express themselves. So it's a really important chakra when it comes to interpersonal relationships and communication, but also tapping into something that's a little more true to ourselves and giving energy to it, giving our voice to what we believe in, who we believe that we are, and what's important to us, stating our desires, stating our needs, but also listening to the desires and needs of others. So there's a lot going on here with the throat chakra. So just touching on some of the more traditional or classical ways that we often think about this chakra, the color is blue, more like a sky blue or a very light blue. I'm just going to wait for the garbage truck to pass. So it's a very nice light color of blue. It's a little bit different from the tone of blue that we're going to get into when we're exploring the sixth chakra. And the element associated with the throat chakra is actually sound. Okay, so we think about vibration and communication. What is our vibration? How are we expressing ourselves? And this brings me to a very important part of exploring the throat chakra, which is using sound to express ourselves. So one of the ways that we discharge excess prana or excess energy when we feel charged up or when we feel some powerful emotion, one of the ways that we can express that is through sound. Not only talking to someone about how we're feeling, but also singing or yelling into a pillow. These are both really excellent ways for us to express ourselves and help to clear the energy in this space. Another thing that's very, very valuable when we're working with balancing the energy in the throat chakra is chanting, using mantra. Mantra is that mind vibration. It's the elevated way of using vibration. So it's a very conscious and intentional type of singing or projection, really. So this is one way that we can help to pacify, to soothe, and to heal the throat chakra. So I'll touch on excess and deficiencies as we have in the previous chakras. When somebody has an excess of energy in the throat chakra, this tends to show up as, they talk a lot. Maybe someone who's very loud, whose voice sort of dominates the room. Or sometimes this can express itself in somebody who gossips, speaking lies or fibbing. This tendency to just shift the truth slightly. This is sometimes seen in people who have excess energy here in the throat chakra. Now, on the other side of this, if somebody is very deficient in energy around the throat chakra, they may not actually speak up very much. Maybe they have a very soft voice where you can actually barely hear what they're saying. Maybe in a social gathering, they're that person who sits quietly off to the side, and almost that wallflower type of personality where sort of just floating around in the background, very introspective, and maybe doesn't communicate unless directly asked to do so. Sometimes this looks like somebody who wants to say something, wants to express how they feel, but instead of doing that, they sort of keep it to themselves, and maybe they process this later. Lots of vibration today. I think it's very fitting. Sometimes things like this happen in the middle of a class where you totally didn't expect the disposal truck to be coming, at this hour, but they're here today, so everything is as it should be. Hopefully you can hear me anyway. So this is how, we can think about those who may be deficient or excessive in the throat chakra area. Now, that center place of balance that we're always trying to seek through our yoga and meditation practice may look like somebody who feels very confident in expressing themselves. Maybe they even express themselves through other means other than just verbally or through auditory means like singing. Maybe they're very artistic, maybe they express themselves through paint or through writing or whatever it might be. So a freedom of self-expression, but also a knowing or a connection where the head and the heart feel aligned. And the expression of that is speaking one's truth, balancing the thoughts or the intellect with the heart and the emotions. This is where the throat chakra really comes into play. And when we have a balanced expression of that throat chakra, we feel comfortable speaking with others. We listen well to others. We give space for others to have their feeling, their experience, and their opinions without being reactive immediately. We sort of just listen. We allow others to express themselves freely, and then we communicate from a conscious, mindful place. So this is what we're seeking when we're working with the throat chakra, is to connect with our voice, to help us feel that our voice is worthy of being heard, that we also are valuing and honoring the expression of others, and have this sort of nice dance between self and other through the means of expression. Sorry, there are many mosquitoes in this area right now. So, we're going to dive into a little bit of a nice, gentle sort of hatha yoga practice, and we'll follow it up with a Kundalini meditation to help improve communication. So, we'll we'll get to that when we get to that. So let's begin by finding a nice comfortable seat. Wherever you are, if you can just make your spine relatively straight, we'll just sort of drop the tailbone closer towards the earth, lengthening the lower back. Allow the heart to be elevated. The back of the neck is nice and long, and the chin just drops slightly. You can close the eyes and start to bring your awareness within, noticing the breath. Just watching where in the body you're experiencing your breath. And we'll start to elongate each breath in and slow down each exhale. Noticing the seat below you, all of the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth. Notice the spine from the tailbone to the sacral spine, into the lumbar region, the thoracic spine, and the cervical spine. And we'll notice the area around the throat, above the throat, below the throat, notice the area in front of your throat and behind the throat. Notice the left side of your throat and the right side of your throat. Let's bring the palms of the hands together and start to rub them. And press the palms firmly into one another, tucking the thumbs into the heart center. Soften your jaw, your cheeks, your ears. Relax the soft palate. And gently gaze upwards towards your third eye. We'll tune in with the Adi mantra. The words are Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. I bow to the divine source of wisdom within all beings, within myself. We'll chant this 3 times together. Keep the eye gaze up. Let's inhale together. Filling the lungs completely, belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale. One more deep, full breath in to begin. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Suspend your breath in. Draw upwards on the pelvic floor, squeezing the anus and sexual organs. Draw the belly up and in. Back of the neck is nice and long. Gaze upwards, squeezing all the energy up. And exhale. Relax. Again, lower your hands into your lap. We'll begin with a pranayama technique. Squirrels are very active right now. So our pranayama will be the bumblebee sounding breath, sometimes it's called, or a humming breath. Basically what we are doing is taking a long deep breath in through the nose and then humming until we can't hum anymore. And when all of your breath is gone, when the sound stops, just inhale through the nose again and then hum again. So the point here, what we're trying to experience is that vibration around the throat center. You'll even start to feel the inside of your skull vibrating. You'll notice the soft palate vibrating, your nose, your whole face is going to start vibrating. And so it'll help to draw our awareness directly into these areas and notice when we start vibrating in the throat chakra, what we are affecting. Just observe, okay? So close your eyes, relax your body, breathe in through the nose, and hum. Continue. Last time. After your last hum ends, just sit quietly and observe. Soften the muscles of the throat, the jaw, cheeks. Relax the palate, the soft palate, and the back of the neck. This lovely little warm up exercise for our throat can be really helpful at any time that you feel restriction here. I know for myself, I've had a history with feeling restricted in my throat, being unable to really express my feelings clearly and consciously. And sometimes when you're upset or when you're angry, you feel the muscles in your throat starting to constrict. If that ever happens to you, or if you're feeling a charge here, just find a quiet space, and you can begin just by doing this bumblebee breath, just this humming practice. And see how you feel afterwards when this energy is allowed and sort of promoted to really resonate out in a way, to disperse some of that charge. I find it very helpful in my practice. You may feel so as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and stretch our legs out nice and long in front of us. We'll start with some gentle forward folds here, just to get our energy moving. So create a nice long back. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, lifting the heart. Maybe even coming into a baby back bend here. Just drop those shoulder blades back down towards the hips and lift the heart up. As you exhale, reach forward from the hips and then gently lower yourself forward and down. And don't pull yourself into this position. Don't really push. Just let the palms face up. Relax the back of the neck. Drop your chin to your chest. Deep breath in here. On your next inhale, gently press into the legs, rise up, stretch the arms out, overhead and up, baby back bend, and exhale, reach forward and down. This time we'll flow with it. As the inhale comes, we rise back up, stretching tall, opening the front of the throat. And as we exhale, we relax the body forward and down, opening the back of the throat, lengthening that neck. And continuing with your own breath, inhaling as the arms sweep up and overhead, and exhaling as you fold forward. And let's just do one more. Inhaling, we'll come all the way back up. Let's bring the arms to meet, hands touch overhead. And as we exhale, we'll sway over towards your right side. Deep breath in, going long through that left side of the body. Deep breath out. Inhaling, we'll come back up through center. Exhaling, soften over towards the left side. Stay here for a round of breath. Inhaling to lengthen through the side body. Exhaling to soften. Inhale, coming back up through center. One more time on both sides. Inhaling up through center, growing tall through the spine, exhaling, softening to the other side. Again, inhaling, creating length, exhaling, softening. And then we'll inhale back through center, press the palms away from each other, and exhale, lower the hands out through the sides and down to the mat, or the ground or blanket, whatever you're on. Coming into our staff pose here, press your palms firmly onto the ground and just give yourself a tiny little lift. Imagine that you're pushing down into the earth and the buttocks actually start elevating off the ground. Now, if you're like me and you have short arms, this probably won't happen, and that's okay. Just press away from the earth. And notice as you force that energy downwards through the arms, you're pressing down into the earth. You get that rebound response growing up through the spine, nice and tall. We'll stay here for one more breath. And exhale, soften, relax the arms. Very nice. You might want to roll the wrists out, wiggle those fingers a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, now you can come back to easy pose if you like, or you can keep your legs long, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we'll start with some really gentle, very slow neck rolls. Starting by dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. As the exhale comes, just slowly lower the chin down towards the chest and continue rolling the head over to the left side. But from here, we're going to go back down towards the heart center. So your breath might be inhaling as you come from the center to the side, and then exhaling from the side to the center. Sort of a semicircle. Just exploring the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. next time that the chin meets the chest, gently inhale all the way back up to the neutral spine. We'll walk the hands forward, coming onto our hands and our knees. So take a moment to place the wrists directly below the shoulders, the knees directly below the hips. If you're outside, you might have to find a nice flat piece of ground so that you're not seated over a lump. You can relax the feet tops onto the floor. And as the inhale comes, we'll lift the hips up, drop the belly down, pull the heart forward slightly, and lengthen the cervical spine. So the chin lifts just slightly, but we keep the back of the neck nice and long. And as we exhale, we tuck the tailbone under, round the back, draw the chin to the chest. Inhaling, opening the front body, keeping the neck nice and long. Exhaling, rounding the back, pressing away from the earth. Continue with your own rhythm of breath. Lovely. Now on your next inhale, just come back to your neutral spine, into our tabletop pose. And from here, we'll come onto the forearms, lowering ourselves down into our puppy pose or our melted heart pose. So from here, you might want to walk the hands forward just slightly, but keep the shoulders away from the ears as you gently lower the heart down towards the mat. So you may want to rest your forehead on the ground, or if your forehead doesn't meet the mat, you can put one palm on top of the other or one fist on top of the other and rest the head downwards. So keep the hips aligned over top of your knees, lower the heart and the head down. At this point in your practice, you may enjoy inviting some ujjayi breath, that beautiful ocean wave sounding breath, where you just slightly restrict the muscles of the throat so that you can hear the breath entering and leaving through the heart or through the throat center. We're here for one more round of breath. And on your inhale, lift the head away from the floor. Start to walk the hands back in. Tuck your toes under and lengthen the legs, reaching the hips up and back for our downward dog. You might want to walk the hands forward a bit or walk the feet back until you find that nice downward dog position that feels right for your body. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Press down into the knuckles of the fingers. Pull the shoulders back towards the hips. And go ahead and paddle out one leg at a time, bending one knee deeply and then the other. Just lengthening the backs of the legs, making it feel really good in the hips and in the calves and hamstrings. Relax your head down and let the neck be nice and long. The head is heavy and it just dangles between the shoulders. Now inhaling, come up onto the balls of the feet, lengthening the hips upward. Exhale, roll those heels down towards the ground. A couple more times, inhaling up, exhaling down. One more time, inhaling up, exhaling down. Lovely. Inhale, gaze forward towards your mat and start to walk the feet towards the hands, coming up onto fingertips, bending those knees as deep as you need to until our hands are on either side of our feet. Now from here, we'll bend the knees really deeply, sinking the hips down, and inhale, stretch the arms out to the sides and up overhead for our chair pose. So we'll try to squeeze those knees together, drop that tailbone towards the ground so the back is nice and lengthened here. Relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. Have the palms facing each other. One more deep breath in. And as we exhale, we'll rise all the way back up. Let your arms lower down to your sides. And then inhale, stretch the arms down and around and up again. This time as we exhale, we reach forward and lower down. Forward fold. Inhaling, flatten your back and rise up halfway. The hands can come to the shins or the knees here. Exhaling, roll forward and down. Soften the back, relax the chin to the chest. We'll stay here for a breath or two. We can even play with our arms a little bit here. Just sway your arms forward and back. Get some nice gentle movements here. You might want to sway side to side if that feels good. Just letting the fingers dance along the ground. And then as we inhale, come all the way back up. Arms will stretch down and around, up towards the sky. Palms will come to meet overhead, and as we exhale, we lower those hands down to the heart. Nice. Go ahead and relax the hands down at your sides, and we'll find our mountain pose. So that's that lovely posture where we feel very stable. So you want your feet to be at least hip distance apart, if not a little bit outside of that. Slight bend in the knees, that tailbone's lengthening towards the space between the heels. A slight engagement in that lower abdomen, starting to knit those ribs together. Shoulders are relaxed back and down. Back of the neck is nice and long. The palms flip forward. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we're in perfect alignment, let's relax. See where you can soften in the body. Maybe just close your eyes. Check in with your breath. Beautiful. Now we'll take the right hand behind the back, bending at the elbow, and it's going to come over and grab a hold of the front of the elbow, or both sides of the elbow really, but our fingers are in front of our left elbow, and we're just gently grasping that arm, very, very slightly pulling it back. Now from here we can slowly lower the right ear towards the right shoulder, and you can rock the chin forward and down. You can rock the chin back and up slightly. Just getting some real soft and gentle motion in the left side of the throat and the neck muscles, the top of your left trap, and down into the scalene muscles which come down the front of the throat and attach themselves underneath your clavicle. And then let your chin come all the way down to the center of the chest, and inhale, lengthen the neck up to its neutral position, and gently release your right arm. We'll come back into mountain pose and just pause here, closing the eyes, to notice how we feel around the throat center, and the shoulders, and the neck. Then we'll take that left arm behind the back, bending at the elbow, grasping the other elbow gently, and slightly pulling it back. Inhale, imagine that string on the top of your head, pulling the whole spinal column up. And then as you exhale, go ahead and lower the left ear to the left shoulder. And as you're ready, you can start to slowly roll the chin forward and down towards the center, and backwards and up. Very nice. Now go ahead and drop that chin down to the center of the chest. Inhale, rising up to that neutral spine. And go ahead and release the arms. Beautiful. Let's move the shoulders forwards and up. And as we exhale, we'll pull them back and down. Inhaling them forward and up towards the ears. Exhaling, rolling those shoulders back and down. As you can start to see, there's usually some tension in the neck and shoulder area, and through our gentle asana practice and with that warming bumblebee breath, we can help to loosen up and warm up these areas. Beautiful. Very nice. Now we'll let that go. Let's just shake it out. Give yourself a little bit of chaotic, spiraling type of movements, really good for the fascia in the body. After any of these more structured or rigid postures, it's really nice to get a little spontaneous movement in there. It makes you feel really good, and it helps to distribute the energy and fluids in the body, rehydrating lots of your tissues. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling good now. Let's go ahead and inhale, stretch the fingers down and around. The arms come all the way up overhead. Now from here, let's bend the knees nice and deep, lowering back into that chair pose, stretching the arms forwards and upwards, almost like we're going to grasp a hold of that sun up there if our strong quads weren't keeping us anchored. Check down for a moment. Make sure that your knees aren't reaching beyond the toes. So you want those knees to be relatively stacked right over top of the heels. So if your knees are a bit forward, go ahead and stick the booty out a little bit more. Okay, we really want that bum to sink down towards the heels and out behind us. We want that nice flat back posture. One more breath in here. And out. Inhaling, lengthen all the way up. Back bend. And as we exhale, let the arms float down through the sides. Forward fold. Resting the head. Go ahead and nod your head yes a couple of times. And nod it no. Beautiful. From here, let's walk the hands forward, coming into our downward dog once more. Spreading the fingers. Feet are hip distance apart. We're pressing into the knuckles of our hands. Head is hanging between the shoulders. And notice as we're in this orientation, if you have any tension in the jaw, in the nose, in the palate, in the eyes, see if you can soften these areas. Beautiful. And then then from here, we'll take a deep breath in. And exhale, deeply bend the knees, lower the knees to the ground. From here, we can walk the hands in, and we'll come onto the knees. So keep your toes tucked under for this one. We're going to play a little bit with our camel pose. Now, camel puts a little bit of pressure here on that throat chakra, helps to strengthen the muscles around the throat, strengthening the abdomen as well, which, from an energetic standpoint is really helpful if we have our power from our solar plexus helping to project through that throat chakra. It's really, really wonderful when we get a nice balance in the whole chakra system. We start noticing how much the navel and the throat are connected. So we'll bring the hands behind the back, just placing them above the buttocks, maybe on the sacral spine area. The fingers pointed down. We'll start to draw the shoulder blades back. The elbows are coming towards one another. When we inhale, we lengthen, lifting the heart, and just slightly pulling back. So we'll keep our neck engaged here so that we're not letting the head drop completely back. And as we exhale, we just come back up through our neutral position. So inhaling, we lengthen the whole front of the body, lean back, but keep the back of the neck nice and straight. Exhaling, we come back to our neutral position. So we'll do it a couple more times. And one more time. Lovely. Now from here, we'll put the hands back down onto the mat in front of us, kick one leg back, and then the other. So we find ourselves in our beautiful plank pose, a nice strong stance. Our hands are directly below those shoulders. We're kicking back through the heels. Keep the lower abdomen engaged. Lengthen the back of the neck. And then we'll lower down, either all in one piece or knees, belly, and then the forearms. So inhaling, lengthen, and exhaling, lower down. When we land here, we'll walk the hands forward slightly so that our elbows land underneath the shoulder blades. You can rest the tops of the feet onto the mat. And in our Sphinx pose, we're working on lengthening the spine and really opening up the throat and shoulder area. So think about drawing those shoulders back towards the buttocks. Drop the tailbone towards the feet, really lengthening that lower back. And then pull up through the crown of the head, as if, right, so someone was having a string attached to the top of your head if you were a little puppet, and they're just pulling upwards. So the whole spine, like that whole chain of vertebrae, is lengthening away from each other. Press down into the earth. Beautiful. Breathe deeply here, filling the belly, the chest, the rib cage. You can close your eyes, and if you like visualization meditations, bring your mind's eye to the throat chakra. You can imagine a beautiful blue ball of energy or light beginning to glow here in the throat center. One more lengthening breath. One more softening exhale. Now from here, we can bring our arms over to one side to assist ourselves in turning over. We'll come to lie flat on the back. So if you have a neck injury, or if you have any pinching, perhaps any herniated discs around the neck area, all that I'd like for you to do in this exercise is come into a bridge pose. So your head is flat on the ground, your gaze is up towards the sky, arms are down at your side with the palms tucked really nice and close in towards the buttocks. We bend the knees and place the feet as close to the hips as possible. And as we inhale, we just lift the hips off of the mat. Okay? Really nice little bridge pose, helping to generate that upward shifting of energy through the spinal column towards that throat center. When you're ready, you can lower back down. Now, if you're good in your neck, you've got no injuries, no pain or anything going on, we're going to enter into our plow pose. So keep the hands down at the sides. Just got to shift because there's a lump underneath me. Okay. So we'll draw the knees in towards the chest and then lengthen them upwards. Give yourself a little push with the arms and start to reach those legs overhead so the feet actually drop towards the ground behind you. You might like to point the toes. Some people like to flex the feet. It doesn't matter, whatever feels more comfortable for you. We'll keep the gaze upwards between the legs. And just very gently allowing gravity to assist your back in rounding. The seat bones begin to push up towards the sky, and the feet gently sink down towards the earth. Still breathing our full deep breaths here. Now we'll bend the knees nice and deeply. The knees will come to either side of the head. And we'll very, very slowly begin to lower the back down towards the mat again. So you can hold the knees into the chest, grab your arms on either sides of the legs, maybe holding onto the wrist, and just gently rock back and forth, side to side. Now from here, we'll roll over onto the left side of the body. Just taking a pause, checking in, noticing how we're feeling. And then gently press your right hand into the ground, slowly rising up. We'll come back onto our hands and knees here, bringing ourselves into our table pose. And here I'd like to invite some really gentle, intuitive motion. So for me, I'd like this figure eight or infinity sign with the neck. So I think that's a really nice place to start. Just dropping the chin down through center and then rolling one ear to one shoulder, lifting the head up and dropping back through center, drawing the ear to the opposite shoulder, up and down through center. Here, I invite you to add on any movement that feels really good. So maybe adding a little bit of gentle motion in the hips. And maybe you start rotating the torso in a nice big circle. Start getting those shoulder blades separating and stretching. Might come into a nice little variation of cat and cow that's a bit more undulating. Just trust your body's own creativity. Trust your body's wisdom. Whatever movement, whatever expression of yourself, your energy feels good, go ahead and explore it. You might even want to come up onto the knees, lifting the heart, rolling the head. Whatever you're doing, if it's a circular motion, make sure you do it in both directions. And when you're ready, we'll inhale together. We'll come up onto the knees, lift those arms up through center, and exhale, lower the hands down to the heart. And we'll seat ourselves for our meditation practice. So this is the Kundalini meditation to improve communication. So we bring the thumb tip and the pinkies to touch. Bend your ring finger in towards the center of the palm, but don't let the fingers touch the palm. And your middle and pointer finger or index finger are sticking straight up. Now this mudra is about 4 to 6 inches in front of the heart center. You can close your eyes and we mentally chant and meditate to an internal mantra. And the words that I suggest for you are Mare Ram. Mere Ram. The meaning is beloved God, beloved spirit, divine, whatever that source energy or that source consciousness, however that's represented to you, call that to mind and mentally chant Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram. Soften the throat. Lengthen the back of the neck. Relax your jaw, your nose, your ears, your palate. Relax your shoulders, your chest, and your traps. Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram. Whenever the mind wanders, come back to the mantra Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram. Continue slow, deep breathing, meditating on the vibrational frequency, the sounds of Mare Ram, invoking a feeling of fondness and love towards the Great Spirit, towards divine consciousness, towards that unity that we all can experience when we go within and discover our truth. Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram. Notice if there's tension that has crept into the shoulders, into the throat area, or elsewhere in the body. Gently release it, letting go, coming back to the mantra anytime the mind wanders. Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram, Mare Ram. And inhale. Suspend your breath. Drawing up on the pelvic floor. Abdomen is nice and tight. Exhale. Hold the posture. Inhale. Suspend your breath. Squeeze the muscles at the base of the spine. Lift your gaze upwards. Keep the posture. Exhale. Releasing the locks. And inhaling one last time. Suspend your breath. Engage all three locks. The root lock, Uddiyana lock, our abdominal lock, and neck lock. Helping to channel the energy upwards. And exhale. Now just relax. Open the hands into the lap. Checking in with the body, the mind, the heart. Sensing and feeling the energy as well. Now from here, you're welcome to stay and meditate for as long as you like, or to come lying down on your back and rest in Shavasana for as long as you possibly can. This Shavasana is a beautiful, very important part of our practice. When your practice is complete, when your Shavasana or your meditation has come to a blissful end, I invite you to bring the palms of the hands together at the heart center and close your practice by chanting the words Sat Nam, true name, truth is my essence. Thank you for practicing today. And as you rest here or as you meditate, you may enjoy cultivating a affirmation or an intention to bring with you for the rest of your day. When focusing on the throat chakra, there are a couple that come to mind. If any of these resonate with you, you're welcome to repeat them a couple times throughout your Shavasana, your meditation, or throughout the rest of your day. My voice matters. My voice is powerful. My head and my heart are aligned. I am attuned to my truth, and I speak my truth freely. Enjoy. Sat Nam.